Welcome to another episode of Everybody's Got Something. I'm your host, Seth Hoffman. Today on the show we have Rebecca Snyder, who is chair of the board of directors for the Quelab Makerspace Animaker. And we have Juan Wijngaard, artist, musician. Let's get into it. Let's have a good time. Here we are. All right, Rebecca, it is a pleasure to have you. We've known each other for probably over 20 years, I would say, but it's a special opportunity to get to talk to you and hear a little bit about your story and your journey and talk about the Quelab. So why don't we start off, tell us a little bit about, where do you come from? Tell us how you came into this world. Where did you start off your journey?
Oh, okay. Well, it's wonderful to be here today, Seth, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as where I started my journey, I grew up in Oregon, actually, and ended up coming out to New Mexico for college, and liked it here, stayed. So, but yeah, it's I'd say earlier in life, I got a lot of exposure to a lot of different creative fields. So my mom was a dance teacher, so I had a lot of dance classes.
Okay, because I know you as a dancer. You're probably my favorite dancer. I know if there's ever live music, if you're there, your dancing makes the music better.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And I've kind of gone a little bit of a different direction with that than your traditional dance school stuff to, kind of get into my own creativity around that. Yeah. And, but yeah, also like when my dad also ran his own business, farming and growing Christmas trees.
Wow.
And so I kind of got exposed to, like, when you run your own business, there's a lot of different stuff that comes up, like, oh, we need to do this thing or create a thing or build a thing, and yeah, so you kind of get, when you're a kid, you kind of get pushed into like, okay, we're gonna
did you have a big family, many siblings?
Oh, no, it is just me.
Okay, so if someone's gonna do it, it was for you. Okay. And what were some of the things that come to mind that you got to create or work on?
Gosh, yeah. Well, when I was growing up that way, that's it's pretty broad, and I didn't even really realize at the time, as is the case when you're a kid, you just kind of think of kids as being like you, and you don't really realize other kids aren't getting exposed to this broad range of stuff. But yeah, everything from in addition to performing, also learning about stagecraft, learning how to build set pieces, design costumes, paint random things, and
And do you remember thinking back? Was that something you remember fondly? Was it, I have to do this again, or was it exciting, or maybe a little both?
That's an interesting question. It's to me, it was just sort of the way life is. Of that, like things that you have all these projects happening all the time, and things come up, and you need to learn a new skill to figure out this project that, and of course we didn't really have the internet to easily look stuff up back then.
Sure, it was a different time, right?
Yep. So yeah, just when, something comes up of like, oh, you have to build like at one point we had, we wanted to have little moving lights, sort of like, if you were going to buy something to do this, you might buy a disco ball and a pin spot and point these at the stage. But, these are also can be expensive things.
Right, there's no Amazon back then, no YouTube to look up how to do it.
Yeah, in a small dance school, that's a lot of money for like
one performance or something.
Yeah, 5 minutes on a stage show. So yeah, we took a piece of wood and glued a bunch of scrap wood pieces to it that had all these different angles, and then took all these broken mirror pieces and glued them onto these scraps of wood at different angles, and then that was attached to...
And at the time, you're like, well, let's see if this works. It's not like this is how it's done. It's like, let's see if it works.
And then that was attached to a dowel, so one person off stage, they rotated this dowel,
Incredible.
and someone else shone a flashlight on it.
And that was that, and that served the purpose, and wow, very cool. Yeah. And so I imagine having opportunities and skills like that built something inside of you that maybe most people don't have. And do you find that in your life in situations you're like, oh, well, this isn't here. Well, how can we make it? How can we take care of this? Do you find that in throughout your life, things like that have happened?
I feel like I'm really proactive at trying to like move forward to like, okay, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
You know, when some kind of situation comes up and suddenly things have changed. You know, your car broke down or whatever thing has happened that you now need to, your plan for the day has changed and you have to figure out what to do next. I tend to be very like solution oriented.
Okay, so you don't sit there like, oh, I guess it's ruined. You're saying, okay, well, what can we do? What are our options?
I mean, I might do that once in a while,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
But, yeah.
yes. Excellent. And so, you, out of all the places, you said you started in Oregon, you came to New Mexico. How was that? How did that happen? You know, I mean, there's many places to go. What guided you to New Mexico, of all places in the world?
Well, I got a scholarship to go to New Mexico Tech, and I didn't know too much about New Mexico.
Is that right? You said, okay, okay.
It seemed like it was a place that was different than where I'd been, and I figured, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take this scholarship.
And did you know anybody at the time? You just came, said, New Mexico, here comes Rebecca.
I didn't know anyone in New Mexico. I had never even visited New Mexico before I took the scholarship. So.
Okay, okay. And how was your entry? Was it a smooth transition? Was it a big shock? What was that first chapter in New Mexico like for you?
Well, beginning as a student with the dorm life at New Mexico Tech, like there's so much that is smoothed out when you're in that situation.
Sure. So there's probably other people in the same boat who also maybe don't know people and all that. Okay, so you started, and what did you learn there, and what happened? What was that time like?
Yeah, so that was New Mexico Tech. One really neat thing about it is that it is a relatively small school, and something that's not obvious on the surface of that is that when you're at a smaller school, instead of only knowing people like in your degree program or a field that you might at a larger school, you're really encouraged and put into situations where you will just end up meeting people who are studying a variety of things. Now, New Mexico Tech kind of focusing on, what these days is called STEM education,
Right.
science, technology, engineering, math.
Yes.
I met people across a variety of those fields. So I had exposure to all these different fields of knowledge.
Incredible.
So.
Incredible. And so now this kind of ties in to what you're doing now. Tell us about Quelab and how you got connected with that, and a little bit of, for those who don't know anything about it, what can you tell us about it?
Okay, well, Quelab is a makerspace here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And a makerspace, we like to say it's a place to make things and a community of makers.
Okay, a community of makers. I like that. I like the sound of that.
So we have a 15,000 square foot building over at 1511 Central on the corner of Central and Ash, and people can join as members and get access to our entire suite of equipment with training on other stuff.
Like, good luck out there with that saw.
You don't get to just join and run a milling machine.
So you kind of, there's some like educate. You can kind of be educated through being a part of this as well.
Yeah, and we have different areas at the makerspace for everything from woodworking and welding to more high-tech things like 3D printing and laser cutting. We have because a lot of and then there's all these intersections between all these different creative areas that you find when you get people all together. Like we have a fiber arts room, which is, not just sewing like people think of it, but that's also kind of, as people are getting more access to different types of tools in the world, and that we're able to bring together people with people with creative ideas and knowledge and the interactions between those, like the fiber arts area, people are 3D printing onto fabric.
Wow.
People are using dye sublimation printers to put images that they've designed in software onto something they're going to wear. People are coming up with very creative ideas for, unusual garments that you won't find out there in a store. There's so many things that are out there in the world that that we're told.
Here we have some pictures. So tell us what's happening here.
So this is our bicycle shop at Quelab. So yeah, we have volunteer stewards in charge of different areas at Quelab. And yeah, and here this is a 3D printer I was repairing at a 3D printing club we had.
You were repairing a 3D printer?
Yes.
That's pretty impressive. Wow.
So this is our blacksmithing area. So this was at our previous location. We moved into our current location about a year ago, so we're still getting stuff set up.
Okay, congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah, and this is a loom someone donated. I was trying out, and I am doing something with fabric in this picture. I'm not entirely certain. So.
Wow. So how did this start? I mean, I imagine people hearing this must think like, there's a place like this. I mean, what an incredible idea. How did whoever or group of people with that idea make this into a real place?
So, yeah, I also want to be clear, like there's maker spaces all over the world too.
Okay.
So that a lot of people who visited and a lot of our members who've moved to other places have said really nice things about Quelab's maker space of just, everything that we're doing and everything that we have as far as our community and our space and our facility. And, but yeah, it started off, like so many things, just as an idea people had. And I want to say, like, I was not actually one of the founders, but I was aware of the maker movement at the time and, following some things around that. And I used to be involved with, I actually was organizing a group in Albuquerque called Dorkbot, which was started by Douglas Repetto in New York City to have people come and meet up every few months and have people come and do 15-minute talks about a project they're working on.
Very cool.
And it turns out it's a little difficult to get people to sign up to do 15-minute talks about things. You may have found this yourself.
And is it because that's too short, or these are not, people who do this don't like to give talks, or?
People can be a little shy about talking about their work sometimes.
Understandable.
But that did, that in the time that was going, that was maybe around 2018, 2019. I found, and I didn't even really realize until later, that was actually one of the things that inspired Quelab, of that some of the people who came together to organize Quelab initially were seeing like, oh, people are interested in coming out to be involved with the maker community in this way. And they were aware of some of the maker spaces that were out there. And decided, we would like to have a maker space in Albuquerque. And I got involved, started getting involved very early on, but I was not actually one of the
And when
founders,
you first became involved, was it, and here we have a
Quelab has an open house every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Very cool. And so when you first connected, was it you were interested in some projects or just seeing what it was like? Like how did you first, when you first went the first day, were you just kind of checking it out?
I was very excited about what was going on with the maker movement right here in Albuquerque.
Okay, so you've known about this maker movement, and was there one in others that you've seen or that you'd been to or just heard about?
Yeah, there was, at that time, there was a paper magazine called Make that was kind of chronicling all these different exciting things people were doing. And this is where I'm going to kind of bring us back to some of these earlier parts of our conversation of the maker movement, like I mentioned STEM earlier, but we kind of like to say that there's we have STEAM stuff, which is the letter A, of course, stands for art. In that. So, and then it's because I was, I came from this world, going to a dance studio after school all the time, and then kind of going to a science and engineering school. So it was this, that I have all these different things that, kind of
it sounds
came
like
together
this was meant for you. It sounds like you're the perfect person. They're so lucky to have you because you have all these different aspects of your life and your training that fit with this.
Well, I mean, more that it just felt like something I wanted to be involved with. I was very drawn to it. And it's also just exciting to see. It's a movement that's kind of celebrating individual creativity an individual agency to affect things in the world.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and there are, Quelab doesn't really have a music area, but there are maker spaces that do. So.
And I wonder if there's maybe people, if not playing, maybe people come there can make an instrument or something.
Yeah, there definitely have been people who've come there to make instruments. And Quelab is, at this point, it's all volunteer run.
Incredible.
And we do have, sometimes we end up having new areas come up if we have members who are really interested in those and a steward who's interested in running them.
And how many people are part of this, or how many people are members of the Quelab?
We have about 120 paid members, which are people who are officially members and have 24/7 access to the space, but we have a lot more supporters in Albuquerque and in other cities who have supported us in various ways.
Incredible.
And we also do some outreach events. We've seen a few photos of some of these.
Yeah.
We've been to events with the city of Albuquerque, or the city of Albuquerque has also hosted a repair cafe kind of event at our makerspace.
Wow, amazing. And so if someone is interested, it sounds like maybe that Wednesday open house would be a good first introduction, perhaps?
Yeah, our Wednesday open house is a great way to get in touch. We also have a Facebook group, or they can email us at info@quelab.net. So.
And it sounds like in addition to having access to be able to create these things, it's as much a place where you connect with people, just who are just other like-minded people who are creating things, which a lot of times it's not so easy to meet people in general, let alone when you have a specific inspired interest like this. So I imagine many friendships have been born and formed. Have you anything you can speak on of seeing people kind of come together, people working on different projects and end up over time saying, hey, maybe let's collaborate on something?
I see that so many times, and some people have even kind of come in and with an idea and ended up starting a business or something like that. Yeah, we don't really track that too specifically. Sure. I mean, some spaces they make you sign something and about all this stuff.
Right.
But yeah, we just kind of figure out. Some of our members are doing things as a hobby. Some are, might be selling things on Etsy. Some people might be working up to starting a startup. There's a whole broad range of things. And people end up connecting in just a whole range of different ways. I also want to say, so our membership, we try to keep the cost very low because we know in Albuquerque, a lot of people need that accessibility. Yes. And so we keep our membership at $50 a month is where the current rate is.
To have access for all those things, that sounds like a great deal.
Yeah, and then we do have some student discounts and discounts for people in the same household. Okay. And some maker spaces in other cities, they're $200 a month.
I bet, I can imagine.
Yeah, and that also, affects I feel like it also really helps the community as a whole at the makerspace when people are more able to join because you get a broader range.
It seems like it's much more inclusive rather than some exclusive thing.
Yeah, and that's a benefit for everyone because then more people are bringing their ideas to the table.
And what are as of late some projects or things? So are you there daily? Or how often are you there?
I'm there about three times a week, maybe.
Okay. So. And what are just some things that when you've been there lately, some things that you've observed people working on or creating?
Oh gosh. Well, let's see. We've got.
I don't even need to put you on the spot.
Yeah, that's. Let's see. A few things I haven't mentioned earlier are we have a photography area with a photo studio and a dark room.
Incredible.
And and that's people in the photography darkroom world now are creating things that it used to be more about how accurate can my photo be, but now that we have digital photography, people are exploring different things in that and really taking a really artistic approach.
Yes.
And then I've seen some things people have built for photography where they've 3D printed some devices to help them with their photography work. Some of these are very elaborate. That's there are laser cut things and yeah, that's another thing where people have also, been showing some of the work they've made with that in other venues.
Incredible. And what type, is there a full spectrum of type people? Is it mostly like men in their 30s, or is it like all, just full spectrum? Like what can you say as far as the range of type of people that are there?
Well, you do have to be over 18 to be a member.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, if there's like kids in the, okay, so over 18.
Yeah,
okay.
people, we don't typically have kid-friendly events. Once in a while, we have some events that are more an open to the public thing. Like we've had some vintage computing events. Where a lot of people bring their kids to those so they can show their kids those games they might have grown up with.
Yeah.
And but yeah, we have as far as our membership, we have a very broad range of people across economic and educational spectrums. And I really like to, maker spaces on the whole, women tend to be less represented. Right. So, I try to encourage women to come check it out. And that's it's been nice to see that there's also a lot of women getting into things that when I was a kid were considered more traditionally male fields, woodworking. There's a lot of women into woodworking these days.
Yes.
So.
And what are some challenges? Because you said being part of the board of directors and some of the behind the scenes things. What are some of the challenges that you come across, or things that you're working on or working with?
I would say one of our biggest challenges that we came across was last year. We got notice from our landlord that our lease was being terminated at our previous space.
Okay.
And it was, that was a big surprise. So yeah, we'd kind of had a conversation with that where he sort of said, well, we didn't really mean that. You could stay. But that kind of gave us a big heads up, and we had started looking for spaces, and we got official notice that our lease was indeed ending. Okay,
that must have been a big stress for some time.
Indeed.
And it's not like, let's pig this up. There's quite a lot you need a very particular type of space, it sounds like.
Yeah, and very fortunately, we were able to get into our current space with help from some of our wonderful members of the maker community here in Albuquerque came together and formed an LLC that's now our landlord for our current building.
Oh, great. So there's a little more security in that.
Yeah, and that was a really wonderful thing that those folks did, and also, makes me feel like there's people who are really believing in what we're doing in Albuquerque.
Yes.
It's I feel like the benefits of a makerspace they can be a little hard to articulate. Some places like Quelab is a 501c3. We're a completely independent organization. By that I mean we're not part of a college or the city or anything like that. Some makerspaces, they're run by a city or something, and then they have to have metrics of how many businesses were started or jobs created. We don't really track those metrics, and I feel like a lot of those benefits are not easily tracked too.
Yes, I see.
So,
I see.
Yeah, and that's and then also, how do you track people getting more involved with their community?
Yes.
People coming up with amazing ideas that inspire them.
Yes.
So.
Incredible. So what would you say are some of your personal favorite things just about this organization? What excites you and inspires you most about this world you get to be a part of?
One thing that really excites me is how we've emphasized the community aspects of the makerspace. Before I was actually on the board of directors myself, I was helping out with some of their social media stuff, and the board had decided on the slogan, "A place to make things." And I thought, I want to expand on this. So I just started. I was not actually on the board and could not change the slogan, right? You have the slogan you have. And I said, thought about this, and I thought, we are also this community of makers.
Yes.
And I have put a lot of thought into how do you create community? How do you consciously create community? And one way is just by talking about that you are.
Yeah.
And then but we also try to, I visited a number of other maker spaces, and some of them don't really they just have tools. They don't have spaces for people to congregate unless you want to stand next to the vending machine or something. And but yeah, we have consciously created areas that are where people can sit and, you know, maybe work on their laptop. Other people are coming through. They can have those casual conversations. You know, sometimes we're like referred to as the hallway track at conferences, and as, but yeah, it's not. That's more analogy because, yeah, we have people who might not have graduated from high school, people who have PhDs. And, yeah, these people know different things and can connect and share their knowledge and work on interesting projects together. And, you know, but you need to get them talking to each other.
And what an incredible thing to have a place where people can meet. And especially, I know a lot of these, a lot of people, all-time people, it's not so easy to meet people, especially nowadays. It's not so, especially like-minded people. So to have a place where you're just there because you're working on what you're working on, and then just to have an opportunity in the space, it's incredible. What a magical place. One last question: what are the hours? Like, do people? Is it from how early and how late can people go there? I know some people's creative juices flow at different times.
So if you become a member, you need to get an orientation to the policies for the space, and you get a key fob and a gate code, and then you can access the space 24/7.
Wow, because that's what I was going to say. I know sometimes people at 3 in the morning, okay, I want to put this. Okay, well, this sounds really inspiring and incredible. So when we put this video on YouTube, we'll put all the links and any contact information, because I'm sure some people will be hearing and seeing this thinking, wow, this sounds incredible. I mean, just even something as simple as a darkroom access, or to be able to work with 3D printers, and for $50 a month to be able to get to know how to use these things and connect with people. It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. One thing I want to reiterate about our open house, which is on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And yeah, that's a great time to come by the space. You know, that even though we're 24/7 access for members, just stopping by at random times is not a great place to come for the first time. You know, we want people to come when people will have time to talk to them. And but the open house at 7 p.m., you can get a tour of the space, but also a lot of our members like to come to the open house because they enjoy engaging with people. And yeah, I know that even at $50 a month, not everyone is in a position to be able to afford to join a makerspace, but everyone is welcome to come by the open house and connect with people. And you know, you can come multiple times. You don't have to come just once. You know, that's that's a great way to connect with people and just, you know, get some creative energy.
Very cool. Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and to share about the Quelab and the space for makers, and thanks for all you do. And it's always a joy to see you at live music events, and just to know what you're doing and building our community. And just thank you, and bless all the people you work with.
Well, thank you too. What an interesting conversation we've had.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll hope to see you on one of these Wednesday nights. I plan to check it out too.
Yeah, come by Wednesday at 7 p.m. Say hi. So.
All right, we are here with Juan Wijngaard. Pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. And first off, I see this beautiful instrument on the table. We're going to be talking about art, which is your living, and music, which is your hobby. But let's start with the music, because we have this beautiful instrument here. Can you tell us, what is this beautiful instrument?
In English, this is called the hurdy-gurdy. It goes back to the 11th century. The earlier ones were really big. They took 2 people to play one.
Yes.
And then they made the sort of like the Sony Walkman version.
Okay, Sony Walkman version.
Smaller, and this is basically a modern version of the hurdy-gurdy. It's this one is electroacoustic, so you can plug it in.
Oh, right.
And
very
it's
cool.
a tenor instrument.
So when you say tenor, is it like ukuleles, where there's like soprano, tenor, like
exactly,
multiple? How many different sizes are there?
Well, there's tenor, altos, and sopranos.
Okay, okay. And how did you first connect with the hurdy-gurdy?
I heard one on a record, and I was immediately, what is this?
Yeah.
I need
Do you
to
remember what record that was by chance?
Yeah, it was a French record called Musicien de Provence, and it was medieval music, and on the last track somebody was playing a hurdy-gurdy.
Okay, and how old were you? Was this in?
I must have been 23 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, by the way, where are you from? Where did you start off this journey of life?
I started off when I was very little in Argentina.
And started in Argentina. Okay.
I was born and raised in Argentina.
Okay. And so, is Spanish? Was that your first language?
My first language was I was brought up bilingually, Spanish and Dutch. My parents were Dutch.
Okay.
And
how did they end up in Argentina?
My dad moved to Argentina in the 30s, and it was a upcoming country looking for people to move there, and he was in love with Spanish and thought, no, this is a place for me.
Okay, and so you were born there, and that's where your childhood. How long did you stay in Argentina?
Until I was 13.
Okay.
And then my parents moved to the Netherlands.
Okay, so they were back to family
home.
or back more.
Yeah.
Okay, and what was that transition? Was that do you remember being excited? Were you thinking?
Yeah, it was kind of bittersweet because you're leaving all your friends behind, everything you knew.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's the 60s, and it's everything's happening in Europe.
Yes.
The Beatles and all that, and I thought, well.
So were you
exciting.
Were you a musician from a young age?
No. Was hurdy-gurdy
your first musical instrument?
It was actually the guitar, like most people.
Okay.
Started with a guitar and
learning some Bob Dylan songs and that sort of
exactly.
thing?
Yeah. And I had a penny whistle and stuff like that, and eventually I got a mandolin, a set of bagpipes, and then I heard this guy, and this is like the lazy man's bagpipe, really.
The lazy man's bagpipe, okay. I bet the neighbors probably like this maybe more than the bagpipes. I don't know, unless they, depending.
Yeah, probably.
The bagpipes is a mighty instrument. I mean, this is mighty, but
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
And so you heard it on a record, and you thought, I must explore this instrument. And so I imagine you couldn't order one on Amazon or go to Guitar Center or any of these places. Yeah. So what did you do to figure out how to figure it out?
At the time, I was living in a house, and I was playing the bagpipes in a kind of early music group, and one of the people was he was an aeronautic engineer, and he lived in the same house upstairs. Okay. And he played in the same group, and I expressed to him I was interested in the hurdy-gurdy, and he went, yeah, I'm kind of interested in that too.
And this is in the Netherlands?
No, I'm sorry, I had moved to England in 1970.
Okay, so now you'd moved, okay.
I'm in England now, and he decided he was going to make one, and I said, well, can I look over your shoulder while you're doing it, and I'll make my own version.
Wow.
And
had you been a woodworker or made things like this?
I put up shelves before that.
Okay. Because I'm thinking of instruments. This is not one of the more simple instruments.
It's not a simple instrument, no. But, I had some guidance, and I went out and I bought a bunch of old secondhand furniture and to use the wood.
Okay.
I thought, well, it needs to be seasoned.
Very resourceful,
the bottoms of drawers made out of cedar, that's fine, I cut up my drawing board to make the harder parts. Wow. And eventually I ended up with a hurdy-gurdy.
Okay, and it was playable, and
It was playable, yeah.
Incredible, incredible. So tell us, you're gonna give us a sample of. You're gonna play a piece for us. Can you tell us about what you're going to play?
Yeah, sure. Little couple of tunes. They're from Brittany and France, and they're andros, and they're basically circle dances.
Okay. So they're intended to be accompanying dancers.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's check it out.
Sure.
Thank you. Very cool. It's like hypnotizing, kind of. It kind of puts the listener in a bit of a trance, in a beautiful way.
Yeah, it's the drones.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us what's happening, so I can see you're turning the crank, and you can tell us a little bit how you're playing this.
Yeah. The crank turns this wheel, and the wheel is fastened on the rim, like a violin bow. Instead of being a stick, it's
so it's basically like doing the function of a bow, but just spinning around.
Yeah, endlessly basically.
Yeah.
There's no cuts in between. You're gonna stop, and it's continuous.
Yes.
And every string you see here you can take it. It's got two positions on and off, so you have a whole selection of tunings, and a high string, a middle string, and a low string. They're all an octave apart, and you can tune them differently as well.
Sure.
Yeah, and then these three that go over the main bridge are the melody strings that go through the key box, and when I press a key, these little tangents touch the strings.
Okay.
Like a movable fret, really.
Okay.
And that's how you get your melody.
Okay.
And these are bass drones, and these two are what they call trumpet strings, because you cannot get any dynamics as, if you're just getting a drone. The bridges are not glued, so if you jerk the handle, it makes a little buzzing noise. You could hear the zin zin zin.
Yeah. It's kind of a cool effect. It kind of almost had like a rhythmic effect.
You make a rhythmic effect, with that.
Incredible. Okay, so this is your hobby. That's
my hobby.
This is your hobby.
Yeah, my way to waste time.
Yes. Well, not a bad way to waste time,
and meet people and play and
I'm sure. I imagine it would. Yeah. Not be, if you're playing this, someone is going to stop, and they can't help but in the combination of the beautiful instrument and the sound, people are going to stop. And I'm sure you've had a lot of conversations.
Oh, they make me stop. Yeah. It's
Like, what?
Yeah,
I'm sure you must say, oh, what is that?
It's kind of like the bagpipes. You either love it or hate it.
Yes, yes. Oh, incredible. Beautiful, beautiful instrument. And so you said you made your first one, and this one, where do you...
This one
get
was
this one?
made in Vienna by an Austrian maker. I have a number of them. Most of them are made in France, and they're traditional instruments, and they look very different to this.
Okay.
They're more embellished. They have, inlays, and
Sure.
more of a folk instrument.
I
Really.
see. Okay. Well, incredible. It's a beautiful, beautiful sound and beautiful to look at. And so this is what you're doing to pass the time when you're not working.
Yeah.
And so tell us about your work.
Right now I'm a painter and a printmaker, and I tackle just about anything as far as, landscapes, portraits, still lifes. I don't do abstracts, but it's all representational. I have a background in graphic design and illustration, so my work is, it's representational. And lately I've been very interested in printmaking as well. I did that back in art school.
And where did you go to art school? Was that in England?
In England, yeah.
Okay. And is that what brought you to England from Netherlands?
No, I had a job in London in 1970, and I couldn't really stand it. And I thought, this is going to kill me.
Yes. I'm glad you intervened.
And yes, on my behalf.
Yes.
And I thought...
and here we're seeing some of your work. It's remarkable. I mean, at first, when you look at it, you can't even believe it's a painting. It's so lifelike.
Thank you.
Incredible. So this is a painting.
Yeah, that's a egg tempera panel. It's actually very small.
What's that like to see a canvas turn into life? I mean, because it's. I'm looking at life.
Yeah.
What's that like from the creator who's doing that? What's that experience like for you?
It's quite magical when it happens, because there's in the lifespan of making something, there's ugly faces, and there's this is getting somewhere, and then at one point it says, okay, this is it, it's working.
Yeah.
And sometimes it never works, and those are put against the wall somewhere.
See, that's very encouraging for people who are aspiring, who struggle. They think, if I can't do this right away, I should give up. But even someone who has accomplished as yourself, you still, it's not easy, and sometimes it doesn't work.
It's not easy. Sometimes you want to throw it in the trash, and think maybe I'll come back later and see what's wrong with it. And that's always a very healthy thing, is to put it away and approach it with fresh eyes.
Yes, I find the same with songwriting. Sometimes if it's not working, sometimes years later even it can have its time.
And conversely, it's also sometimes, especially when you're working late at night, the hours fly by, and suddenly it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you think you're doing great, and okay, I can go to bed satisfied. And you come back the next morning and you look at it and what was I thinking of? It's you go into this tunnel where you think everything you're doing is great, but you haven't stood back to look at it.
And when did you first realize you had kind of a gift for this, to be able to produce this type of art?
I guess at school.
Like, were you a kid who was doodling in your notebook kind of thing?
I was always doodling. I was terrible academically. I guess they would say ADHD right now, but
back then they just thought
back now
naughty boy or whatever, or just someone who
yeah,
wasn't focused or
the
whatever.
worst thing they would say, he's not stupid, he's lazy or something like that, you know. But
well, I hope some of those people who said that can see what you are creating now.
I don't think they're with us anymore.
No, okay.
But yeah, art is something I always enjoyed doing. And my mother was an artist, so there was always materials around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's one of the few things I could say I'm good at this, you know, and I enjoy doing it.
Yes.
And so I decided that's what I want to pursue.
Yes. And what's the difference for you between doing paintings like this and illustrations? Because that's been a big part. And maybe you can tell us about your illustrating life.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of not forced on me, but when I decided to apply for art school, I did a foundation course. At the end of it, they looked at my work, and as I said, it's all representational, fairly small formats, lots of pen and ink and stuff like that. And they asked me, what do you want to do with this? And I said, I want to be a painter. That's really what I wanted to do. And this is, you know, early 1970s. If you wanted to be a painter, you had to paint big and abstract, you know. And they look at you're not a painter. You're more like a graphic designer, you know. And
so they tried to pigeonhole you into this. This is what you are.
Well, they did. Yeah, I was desperate enough to say, okay.
Said, okay, they must know something. Okay. So you tried that. You did that for some time.
I did a graphic design course to realize I didn't want to do graphic design, but I discovered illustration was part of it, and so I changed directions towards that.
Yeah, and so you have some samples with you of some of your illustrations?
I brought some very early stuff. This is one of my earlier books I did in England. I published most of the books in England, but there's somebody playing a hurdy-gurdy in that.
Is that right?
Yes.
What were the chances?
Yeah, who would have thought it?
I mean, these are pretty incredible. These are for illustrations. I mean, these are works of art. I mean, in a book, it's amazing. And so this one, and this is called Sir
Gawain and the Loathly Lady.
The Loathly Lady. All right, and let's see.
These were all published here in the United States. And this is the last one I did.
And so how do you get connected with, someone approaches you, they're looking for, is there like an illustrator committee? Like how do you connect with the author to...
I actually never connect with the author except after...
Is that right?
Usually it's the publisher who you know, I'm working with, they have a manuscript and they think I'm the right person for it.
Yes.
And they put me in touch with the author at that point.
Okay.
But I don't find the author myself.
Okay, and so once you kind of got established and connected, then they said, okay, now they could refer an author or suggest that, oh, maybe I have a good idea for an illustrator.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you, wow, this is incredible. So, I mean, I can't imagine just reading a book and these, I mean, it's a museum exhibit in a book. It's incredible.
Thank you.
And so do you approach creating illustrations very differently than painting?
Yes, because you're tied to the text and your job is to interpret the text. Whereas with painting, it's, you know, it's carte blanche. You do whatever you want.
Yeah. And so where, I mean, some of these could be painting, I mean, are the originals? Do you have all the originals of
Some
all
of
these?
them, yeah.
I mean, because you know, something like this, it's a whole world. I mean, how long does something like this take to do it?
Probably a week or so to draw that one.
Wow, incredible. So, from London, from England, was New Mexico after that, or
no,
what was your?
It was
path?
L.A.
L.A. Okay.
L.A. Yeah.
Okay, and what brought you to L.A.?
A relationship with somebody who lived there.
Okay.
Yeah. And it actually didn't work out, but in LA I met my wife
Okay.
at a hurdy-gurdy party.
Is that right?
Yes.
A hurdy-gurdy, and she also plays the hurdy-gurdy?
She also plays hurdy-gurdy.
Wow. And would you say, I'm just looking for a wonderful woman who plays the hurdy-gurdy? Was this something, or do you think,
No,
that'll
I
never
wasn't
happen?
looking for
Who could even pray for something
for
like
a
that?
woman at all. I was,
Is that right?
I was just, deciding what to do with my life, and then I met her,
And was it the kind of thing when you met her right away, you knew she was maybe the one, or was it just, oh, she seems cool?
It was, I wouldn't say the one. I remember thinking, I must not lose touch with this person.
Okay. You knew she was something special,
She's very
someone special.
very special.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't sure I wanted to be in a relationship,
Yes.
but eventually, she's the one.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so thankfully for that first relationship, for bringing you to LA to then meet your wife. And how long did you stay in LA?
I was in LA. Yeah, it's about 8 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then from there, New Mexico, or another
From
check?
there to New Mexico.
Okay, and so
yeah.
what brought you to our beautiful New Mexico?
Well, my beautiful wife was, she was doing a project making a documentary on a santero in New Mexico, and
a documentary on what?
a santero, a man who paints retablos,
I see, okay.
panels, and this was taking, she'd be here weeks at a time, and I'd come out to visit her. We both fell in love with New Mexico.
Wow.
And decided, well, we had already decided we wanted to get out of LA.
Yes.
So,
and so how many years have you been in New Mexico now?
It's now 21, 22 years.
22 years, okay. And you're in Corrales,
Yeah.
is where you live and you paint. That's where your studio. Did you discover Corrales early on, or were you?
No.
First,
we actually wanted to move to. We had a lot of friends in the Nob Hill area, and we're trying to find somewhere close to them.
Yes.
Which was. It's expensive, and the houses were too small to have a studio in them, and this place, we had an estate agent looking for us, and he kept sending us the wrong things, and we decided we need to go there ourselves and look.
Yes.
And the day before we moved, we took our flight to come here. He phoned us up and said, I found a place in Corrales. We had no idea where this was. I think you should see it. I'll pick you up at the airport. And he took us to Corrales, and we had a look at this house. It was a fixer-upper.
Yes.
And we made an offer. First house we looked at.
Wow.
Which was,
well, sometimes when you know, you know.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's where you've been, and that's where you
that's where
create, and that's where your world is.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. So I wonder if you could kind of take us out with just some, I don't know, things you've learned in life, because you do so many things, and it didn't come easy. I'm sure everything you've done to paint these things, you can have a talent, but to really hone a skill and a craft and art like that. What can you speak on for maybe other aspiring artists or people who are wanting to achieve a greatness in what they're doing?
Oh, well, I think you need to follow your own path and not be swayed by the current trends and people who say you cannot do it this way or that way, because that's the only thing that's going to make you stand out from the rest. If you follow a trend, you'll be one of many. If you follow yourself, you'll just be yourself, and that in the end is what fulfills you more. You're true to yourself.
So do you feel with looking back at your life right now, kind of as like a work of art? What do you make of it? Thinking of your story and the different chapters of it. If there are places you're like, oh, I still really wanted to do this, or you think like,
there's always this life is too short, really. What do they say? Ars longa vita brevis, which I always thought meant, art will go on forever, but life doesn't, which is like an incentive to buy art, but it doesn't mean that at all. It means there's not enough time in a lifetime to do what you're doing to the extent you want to take it. It's always a progression of, you going from one thing to the next and hopefully getting better at it and getting more fulfillment out of it. It never ends. I think the day you find the thing that you did perfectly, it's the day you put down your brushes and say, okay, I'm done. Who was it? Da Vinci said, a work of art is never finished, it's abandoned, you can take it as far as you want to.
Well, I sure appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and to share your music and to share your art, and it's very inspiring and humbling to see your creations, and I wish you blessings on your family, your health, your life, your creations, and all you do, and I hope you get to do it for a good long while.
Thank you so much, Seth, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.